The Jakarta press hall buzzed with anticipation on November 16, 2025, a day that would not only make headlines, but would ultimately reshape Southeast Asia's entire military landscape for years to come. Journalists from across the globe had gathered, their eyes fixed on Indonesia, expecting the government to finally reveal whether it would side with the American F-16 or the French Rafale in its next-generation fighter jet purchase. The Indonesian Minister of Defense, flanked by the nation's top military leaders, stepped up to the podium, his expression giving nothing away, the room holding its breath. He spoke at length about national sovereignty, the importance of self-reliance, and Indonesia's vision for a future where it would stand strong and independent on the world stage. But the real shock was yet to come. Then, the bombshell dropped. Indonesia had signed a staggering $9 billion deal with Beijing for a fleet of Chengdu J-10C vigorous Dragon fighter jets, stunning everyone in attendance. The press hall erupted into chaos. Reporters scrambled to file their stories, phones rang off the hook, and newsrooms around the world raced to break the story first. This wasn't just another military purchase, it was a seismic geopolitical shift that sent shockwaves through capitals from Washington to Paris and beyond. Headlines blared across screens and newspapers. Jakarta pivots to Beijing and fighter jet stunner, capturing the magnitude of Indonesia's decision. Around the world, leaders and analysts scrambled to interpret the implications, debating what this meant for the balance of power in the region. Why had Indonesia, long known as a careful balancer between global powers, suddenly made such a bold and unexpected move? The announcement wasn't just about acquiring new hardware, it was a clear signal that Indonesia was determined to chart a new independent course, free from traditional alignments. The world was left reeling, trying to catch up with Indonesia's audacious decision as a new chapter in regional history began to unfold before their eyes. For decades, Indonesia's Air Force relied heavily on Western technology. American F-16s, British Hawks, and ongoing negotiations with European partners. These aircraft became symbols of Indonesia's military modernization and its close ties with Western defense industries. So when Indonesia suddenly pivoted to China's J-10C, the move sent shockwaves through Western capitals and left many analysts scrambling for answers. The US and France had both offered their most advanced jets, confident that their technological superiority and established track records would easily seal the deal. But Jakarta grew increasingly frustrated by the strings attached: strict end-user agreements, political conditions, and a lingering sense of dependency that came with every Western offer. Indonesia wanted more than just new jets. It sought genuine partnership, meaningful technology transfer, and opportunities for local industry to grow and innovate. Western offers, however, were not only expensive and inflexible, but also lacked the kind of local cooperation Indonesia was seeking for its long-term ambitions. In contrast, China understood Indonesia's ambitions and came forward with a deal that promised real industrial collaboration, joint production, and shared expertise. The decision was far from impulsive. It was a carefully calculated move aimed at achieving greater strategic autonomy and independence in defense. The West's failure to adapt to Indonesia's evolving needs ultimately opened the door for Beijing to step in and fill the gap. China seized the opportunity, presenting Indonesia with an offer that was simply too attractive and too strategic to refuse. Indonesia's Air Force was a patchwork of jets from the US, Russia, Britain, and South Korea, a logistical nightmare that few other countries faced on such a scale. Each aircraft type demanded its own unique supply chain, specialized mechanics, and separate training programs, driving up costs and reducing overall readiness across the fleet. If relations soured with any supplier, part of the fleet could be grounded overnight, leaving critical gaps in Indonesia's air defense. Readiness rates were low, maintenance backlogs were common, and spare parts often arrived late or not at all. Pilots couldn't easily switch between aircraft, making joint operations difficult and limiting the Air Force's flexibility in a crisis. For a nation of 17,000 islands spread across a vast archipelago, this lack of cohesion was a critical vulnerability that could not be ignored. Military leaders knew the status quo was unsustainable and recognized the urgent need for change. The dream was clear: unify the fleet around a single, modern, multi-role fighter that could handle any mission. Fleet rationalization would streamline logistics, cut costs, and boost readiness, making the Air Force more agile and responsive. Standardized training would create a more flexible, effective force, able to respond quickly to any threat. A unified fleet meant a stronger deterrent, projecting power and confidence across the region. The search for the perfect jet became Indonesia's top defense priority, shaping the future of its Air Force for decades to come. Indonesia's wish list for its new fighter went far beyond performance. The jet had to be multi-role, capable of air superiority, ground attack, and maritime strike. But Jakarta also demanded local manufacturing and real technology transfer. The goal? Create high-tech jobs, build a domestic aerospace industry, and achieve self-reliance. Speed was crucial. Indonesia needed jets delivered fast to address urgent security gaps. Economic value mattered, not just price but training, support, and industrial offsets. The winning bid had to be a true partnership, boosting Indonesia's technological and economic future. This holistic vision, military power, industrial growth, and independence, guided the final decision. The new fleet would be a foundation for national strength, not just a collection of planes. The J-10C wasn't always seen as a frontrunner, but joint exercises with Pakistan revealed its agility, advanced radar, and electronic warfare capabilities. Indonesian observers were impressed by its performance and versatility. The J-10C excelled in both air-to-air and ground attack roles, fitting Indonesia's need for a single, flexible platform. Pakistani pilots vouched for its reliability, low operating costs, and real technology transfer. China's support and willingness to train local engineers sealed the deal. The J-10C was no longer an unknown. It was a proven, battle-tested fighter. For Indonesia, it was the all-in-one solution they'd been searching for. The final bids revealed a stark contrast. The US F-16V and French Rafale were technologically superb, but came with high costs and limited technology transfer. Western offers were structured as simple sales, with Indonesia remaining a dependent customer. Delivery timelines were slow, and political strings loomed large. China's J-10C package was more affordable, with rapid delivery and comprehensive support. Most importantly, China offered full technology transfer and local assembly at PT Dirgantara, Indonesia. Indonesian engineers would be trained in advanced systems integration. Licensed production of key components gave Indonesia a real stake in manufacturing. Fewer political strings meant greater strategic autonomy. Side by side, China's offer wasn't just competitive, it was superior in every way that mattered to Jakarta. The choice was clear. China's diplomatic approach was as important as its technical offer. While Western negotiators acted superior, China treated Indonesia as an equal partner. The J-10C deal was framed as the start of a broader strategic relationship. Chinese diplomats listened to Indonesia's aspirations and tailored their proposal accordingly. They made real concessions on technology transfer and local production, building trust. In contrast, Western negotiations felt rigid and transactional. China's collaborative approach won hearts as well as minds. By respecting Indonesia's ambitions, Beijing forged a powerful new partnership. Indonesia's J-10C deal sent shockwaves through the Indo-Pacific. It marked China's entry into a high-end defense market once dominated by the West. For the US and its allies, it was a major setback. Indonesia, Southeast Asia's largest nation, was now tilting toward Beijing. The deal could trigger a regional arms race, with neighbors like Australia and Vietnam reassessing their own air forces. The military balance in Southeast Asia was shifting. US-Indonesia relations would inevitably cool, complicating future cooperation. Jakarta's move showed that middle powers could chart their own course, refusing to choose sides. The region's security calculus had changed overnight. The world was watching and recalibrating. Indonesia's bold move comes with real risks. Integrating the J-10C with existing Western and Russian systems will be a major technical challenge. There's also the danger of over-reliance on China. If relations sour, spare parts and support could be cut off. This new dependency echoes the very problem Indonesia sought to escape. Diplomatic fallout with the US and its allies is likely, risking reduced cooperation and intelligence sharing. Indonesia may find itself more isolated, navigating a more complex regional environment. Still, Jakarta is betting on greater autonomy and industrial growth. The hope: this deal sparks a new era of Indonesian power and independence. The path is uncertain. Only time will tell if this gamble is a masterstroke or a costly miscalculation.